Hello and welcome to Scorecard here on Citi TV. My name is Daniel Kranting. This is a show that puts into perspective all the sporting action that has happened over the weekend. And what a weekend of sport it has been. The FIFA World Cup is drawing near. It's just about a week from now. In fact, next week by this time, the opening game between Qatar and Ecuador would have been over. And speaking of that tournament, Black Stars head coach Otuado, he names his final 26-man squad for that competition tomorrow. So we'll be giving you all the latest news from the Black Stars camp. In the Ghana Premier League, Kotoko, they grabbed a very important win at Takwa and had to drop points at home. In the English Premier League, Chelsea and their struggles under Graham Potter continue. Manchester United recorded a last-minute win, and Arsenal, they will go into Christmas top of the table. In fact, 5 points clear at the top of the table. When we come back, I'll introduce my guests and then we'll start the show. This is Scorecard on Citi TV. Don't go away. Welcome back. This is Scorecard on Citi TV. My name is Daniel Kranting. You can also join in on the conversation on the WhatsApp line 0550585832, 0550585832, or hashtag Scorecard on Twitter, and I'll read all your messages. It's time to introduce my guests. Coach Christopher Nimley is here with me, as well as Susu Graham. Coach,
no more.
How are you feeling?
I'm in love with something.
Tell me
I'm in love with you. Portable, yeah. I'm in love with you. Portable, yeah. I'm in love with you. Portable. I'm in love with Portable.
But Portable is not doing well, so why are you in love with Portable?
He's doing very well for me.
I thought you said you were a Chelsea fan.
Oh, no more. This is Portable. We play, we lose, and we are happy. When we lose, we are happy.
Oh, really?
Look, I spoke to Porter. Numo Porter.
Numo Porter.
Please, continue in that tangent. It's a very good tangent. That makes some of us extremely happy. Oh, I'm in love with you, Portable, yeah.
Susu, how are you doing?
I'm doing great.
Oh, goodness me. Let's start off with
you are the host. You have to behave.
I'm behaving. Don't worry, I'm behaving. Let's start off with the Black Stars. Ghana's final squad for the FIFA World Cup will be named tomorrow by the head coach Otuado. But there's already some news in the camp. We understand that Joseph Wollacott, has been ruled out of the competition. He fractured his finger with Charlton, so he's been ruled out. We understand that news has been passed on to the Black Stars doctors. So Ghana's number one is out of the competition. And it also looks like Baba Idrisu has also suffered an injury. The extent of the injury we don't know, but there are some rumors that he may also miss out on the squad due to injury. Coach, what are your thoughts? Ghana's number one, that is confirmed that Joseph Wollacott will not be traveling to Qatar due to a fractured finger.
It's a bit unfortunate. In fact, it is unfortunate because I've always been of the view that going to the Mondial, we should go with our best players. And if you look at Jojo, per the technical team assessment of every player, he's an integral member of the team. So I believe that his inclusion in the team would have been very, very necessitated or necessary. But again, I'm that type of person or coach who don't cry over spilled milk. I'm always of the view, you don't take an injured player to a tournament. Perfect example. Don't repeat that. So for him, he'll be doing all the job. 90% of the job will be done by his hands. So if it is a finger, one finger that is broken or the whole, he's out. That is part and parcel of the game. It gives the opportunity to another person. Who knows? Maybe per destiny, that person is going to be our savior. So it's so unfortunate. I know the people from his camp will not be happy. They'll be so devastated. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. We have to move on. Do not take an injured player to the tournament. We are not going to give any player who is injured $100,000 to appear and not do any job. That will not happen. So if he's injured and he's been confirmed medically, this is by the medics of Charlton Athletic, isn't it? They've told the FA. So tomorrow when Otuado sits behind that microphone with all his technical team, personally, me, you, those of us here, Ghanaians for that matter, we don't expect to hear Jojo Warlock. It's so unfortunate, but it is what it is. And for Baba Idrisu, I think it is going to be a huge miss. Because I would have thought that in his position, he would have liberated Thomas Partey a bit. But as it stands, look, all things being equal, I expect to hear Jeffrey Schlupp name in that list tomorrow. If he's not in the list, then we are going to be seriously handicapped in midfield. Because if you look at what Jeffrey Schlupp had done over the 2-3 years now, consistently in midfield, if we are not taking Baba Idrisu because of injury, and like I said, don't add any injured player to the list. That we will not accept. So, Jeffrey Schlupp, name personally, I expect to see. And at the end of the day, Otuado, hold your ground. Show to us that you've got balls. Be honest and go for the best. Players who are on form. Tomorrow, Joseph Pencil, do or die. Do kadaya. He has to be in the list.
You go and assist today.
The form is there. You can't deny it.
We can't.
You cannot. Don't dare, Otuado, Ketokreku, stay away. No dormitomoson-like attitude. Stay away. And let the head coach do their thing. Don't go and be sitting down, dormitomoson, tiko-tata behavior, like you have said. For this one, stay away. And let Otuado, George Boateng, Masau Didi Dramani, and co. give us the best 26 players. And for me, I've always said, when you give the Ghanaian the chance, granting you, so me, any Ghanaian for that matter, if you present us with an opportunity to go and show what the Ghanaian is made of in a typical competition like the World Cup, if we do our things right, money go away. You understand that, Gan?
No, explain it.
The person who fails to die, his head will be cut off. That is the meaning of the determination of a Ghanaian in the battle. And we'll meet Cristiano Ronaldo and his people. We'll meet Uruguay and we'll meet Korea. Put the best players there. Thomas Partey, Daniel Amati, Juku, Salisu. On the grounds of the goalkeeping department, whether you like it or not, Atizigi starts. He starts as the obvious number one because as we are talking today, Manaf, he's not playing football. He's on the bench. Ever seen that? He should not be inside. Danlad, a very able deputy to Atizigi. If you are not good enough, you cannot be the number one for Senegal. Put your best defenders in front of Adi. Get a proper defensive organization. And everybody will play his role. He's a shot stopper. He's a ball-playing goalkeeper. He's a talented goalkeeper. That is why he's the number one of Senegal. Put him in there. Instill every confidence in him. And unleash Thomas Partey. Unleash Joseph Pencil. Unleash Tariq Lamptey. Unleash Inaki Williams. Washe Mokubi. You understand that one? We are not afraid of anybody. Money go away. Eicho Bachi.
Susu. Oh, I think Coach I said it all. But my thing about the goalkeeping situation is I'm a bit of a cynic with these things. Because remember, Charlton Athletic are in the third tier, which will be going on. So the third tier and below in England will still be playing as the World Cup is going on. For all you know, Charlton just don't want to lose him for that period of time. And they are overplaying the injury, which is why, from what we've heard, is there.
We can invite him over.
And they want to do their checks. But so I'm not 100% sure whether he sat out the last game. We knew that. But how serious is the injury? We ourselves need to check the extent of the injury and go. But I also wanted to turn it back to Coach a bit. You know, you say you shouldn't take injured players, but there's an extent to the injury. There's an injury that maybe you are out for 3-4 days, and there's an injury that you are out.
I don't trust our medics. Don't do that. Don't ever dare. They told us in the case of Sheila Alias, it never happened. Look, I spoke to Fred Papo yesterday. I'll say it here. He's watching the program. You see, I've been very blunt on the Wakaso issue. Yesterday was when the young man told me personally, he called my phone And he gave me a proper breakdown of what happened. We were let down by the medical team and not even the management members. Because from what I was told yesterday by Fred Papa, who is a member of the Black Stars Management Committee, he was in the last AFCON. He's part of them. He said when they saw the injury of Wakaso from China, he personally went and questioned, what is he doing? And he said, oh, per the assessment, he'll be fit in 8 days. That was Dr. Baba and his school. Later, when it became clear that the young man will not be fit, then they read into something. That one I will tell you after the program. I cannot say it on air. And that was what it was. You cannot do that if you love Ghana. You cannot do that to this country. Because we took the young man, injured knee from China. He took $25,000 appearance fee. He couldn't even jog from this to here. From here to here, he couldn't jog.
His knee
Was completely damaged. He took $25,000 appearance fee. Don't do that. And like I advise some of the players on Sports Panorama, please, if you love Ghana, you want Ghana to be successful, if you are not battle ready, don't put yourself forward. It has to be said in that way too. Because the likes of Anthony Anna, Boachi Yadon over the years gone, we've taken them to major tournaments. They knew they were injured. But they went there and made money of the state for no work done. We've gone past this era. So for me, I don't trust the medical team. No more kepla.
Okay, because that's a fair assessment. But I also believe that we should give them, it's their job. They made a mistake once. They might get it right the next time.
It cost us the AFCON in 2008. If the Buffalo, Makelesen had played in midfield.
So, coach, if Partey is injured and they say Partey will take what, 3 days or a week, they should take him completely.
Laie Kingston, who was not even injured, he was suspended and he would have missed the first 2 games. He was one of our better than Otto Addo, because Otto Addo came to replace Laie. You know that in 2006. Far better than Otto Addo. We said because Laie Kingston was red carded whilst playing for Ghana, because he will not play for a game, Laie out. Let alone if Partey is injured. We've seen an injured Makelesian not taking the best midfielder I have seen during my era for Ghana. When he was not injured, we didn't take him there. If Partey injury is going to take him 1 week, if he misses the first 2 games, maybe he will not even play the 4th one. And on Chinasa, a fully fit player at the World Cup is of better use than a half-fit player. That nobody should. Don't lacquer yourself. Don't lacquer yourself.
Well said, coach. Let's now turn our attentions to the Ghana Premier League. Kumasi Asante Kotoko, they were away in Takwa to take on Midiama Sporting Club, and Kotoko did the job. A clean sheet, 3 points. They head into the World Cup with another 3 points for them. Let's take a look at the action.
Take the initiative. That's a foul on him from his former teammate Richard Boedu. Free kick is quickly taken. Here is Derek Fojo. He's up against Augustine Japan. Goes past the Japan, goes down. He won't get a penalty. It's Sharif against Ansu. Hans Kofi with an opportunity. He sets up Fojo. Here is Fojo. It is Derek Fojo. And ball is cleared by Mubarak Yusuf on the line. Here is Hafiz. Hans Kofi for Mediama. And Fojo's effort again is blocked. Here is Fojo. He's up against Ejapon. He's got a skill to go past him. Fojo! Straight to Danlad. Welcome back for second half of this top lineup between Mediama and Asante Kotoko. Mediama gets us going for the second half. It's Fojo who takes on Afuakwa. He's fouled for the first free kick of the second half. Here is Mensah. He goes past Fatal, but Fatal is still keeping a close watch. He goes past Fatal again. Mensah! What a brilliant goal! Nicolas Mensah scores a beautiful goal here. in Takwa against betPawa at Yakun Park. Fatau, and you know, the confidence and the conviction to shoot from that angle. No, just look at how he took on Sulemana. He goes for the step over, nutmegs him, sees the goalkeeper has created a space. He goes for the first ball, and that's a beautiful goal. Wonderful goal from Nicholas Mensah. betPawa 0, Kotoko 1 at the TNA at the Akun Community Park. Here is Nuruddin, steps forward. It is Nuruddin. He goes down. It's a foul. Zeze will get a yellow card. Referee whistles. It's Fatau Sulemana. Nearly redeems himself. He can't wait for the final whistle. The Kotoko CEO.
What a goal there from Nicholas Mensah, grabbing that solitary goal. Kotoko winning by a goal to nil. I think the second season in a row they are going to
Takwa to beat betPawa. Look, that was an excellent goal by all standard. But again, if you are doing the assessment, it's a goal that should have been avoided, isn't it? Defensively, there's something we call the defensive line cover. When he picked up the ball on the touchline, it was a 1v1 situation. The person covering the betPawa, he was about 20 yards away.
It's like the left centre back should have been.
He should have just close in so that in case he went back, that is what, you see, when you see these things happening, at times you want to wonder, is it that some of our players are not intelligent or they are not being coached properly? This is what I'm saying. Look at the defensive line cover. Look at him. He's now coming to close him down. But the moment the fullback delayed the Kotoko player, if he had looked, he would have seen that the Kotoko striker was in the midst of 3 betPawa defenders. So watch. You see, when at this moment, he should be closing in. Yeah. Because there was, look at it, there was enough betPawa players in the box to have dealt with the situation.
He gave him a lot of space.
Too much space. And again, the goalkeeper, question marks on his positioning.
He looked like he was hiding.
He was dodging the ball.
He was dodging the ball.
All he needed to do was to stand.
Have you ever seen those videos of Zidane's son when they are playing shots at him? It's
you
like
know,
he's running away. It reminded me of that.
Look at that. All he needed to do was to stand his ground, and that ball would have hit him. And that would have been a save. But look, nothing should be taken from the Kotoko striker. It was an excellent goal. He showed bravery, lot of courage, lot of determination. He knew what he was doing. And you could clearly see that when he went past and the defensive line delayed and he pushed the ball, he realized that there wasn't the time to do a pull-up. So his mind was made up. I'm going to hit it as hard as I can. Agolu. If it goes in. And it went in. Eventually, that won them the game. So perfect goal, perfect 3 points.
So let's talk
about the keeper a bit more. I would have given him a bit more credit if, let's say, had gone into the roof of the net or was high. But the fact that it was right at his height.
So it was a goalkeeping
very poor. But Susu, let me stay with you on betPawa. They started the season well under David Duncan. I think it was 2 wins out of 2. Since then, they've been struggling. What exactly is the issue? And you would have expected them to put up much of a better fight at home against Kotoko. But then again.
Well, we've seen this happen to them multiple times where they start the season very well, they're on top for a while and they just fall off. I don't know what it is about the club. Maybe it's partway through their players start leaving, because you know that tends to happen when they start doing well. Hearts will come for one, Kotoko will come for all those things. So I guess not being a traditional powerhouse like that, you don't have that kind of stamina to finish the league season and win trophies. I think that's one of their problems. But they just need to, I think the mentality at the club needs to change, because it can't happen every time that you are starting well all the time. You are known for starting well, and by the time the league finishes, you are 7th or 8th. It's not good enough. And the fact that they can start the season so well and put pressure on the teams at the start shows that there's potential there. So they really need to change their mindsets, because this has become all too common from them.
Yeah,
and just a quick one on betPawa. I think betPawa's problem is more of an internal one. This is one of the reasons why I've always been against you appointing a head coach and not allow him to come with his backroom staff. There's a serious friction between the head coach and his assistant. During the week, we heard a lot of things. They tried to place it under the carpet, but it just wouldn't go away. And they should be questioning the commitment of some of their players. It's like internally, some of the players are for the head coach, some are for the assistant coach. And if you are Moses Amapaka, that's the owner, isn't it? And you are the one dishing out the cash. You can't be allowing such things to happen. So this is a perfect indication, it's a perfect example of when coaches are being appointed. You ask David Duncan, would he have appointed the assistant coach? I think from my checks with him, the assistant coach feels that it is now his time to be the head coach of the team. So he's not buying into the identity, the ways of David Duncan. And it can only come back and reflect on the pitch. I think this is about the 4th game they've gone
without a win.
And without a win. And by medium and high standard, in their history, they've never lost 3 games on the row. Yeah. Now it's 4 games on the row. They've lost 4 straight games.
It's very poor.
And they have to stop that.
That's very poor. Let's now look at the results from the week's action in the Ghana Premier League. It was Accra Lions beating Bichim United by a goal to nil away from home. That's a huge one. Hearts of Oak and Karela drew goalless at the Accra Sports Stadium. Disappointing for Hearts of Oak. In Swatriman, they beat Dreams FC by 2-1. RTU were 1-0 winners over Diana Stars. Samatex were beaten by 3-0 at home against BBNE Gold Stars. More trouble for Anna Walker there. As you just showed you, Kotoko beat Midiama by a goal to nil. Pfizer beating Kotoku Royals by 2-1 at home. In the Accra derby, it was Legon Cities beating Preco's Great Olympics by 2-0. Very important win there from Legon Cities. And Tamale City and Brekum Chelsea played out a 2-2 draw. Let's now shift our attention to the English Premier League. We'll start off at St. James's Park, Newcastle. Under Eddie Howe, they've done brilliantly well. They obviously, even before this game, they knew they would enter that World Cup break in the top 4, but they wanted to consolidate their 3rd place position. They played host to Chelsea, Graham Potter's Chelsea. Chelsea were looking to end their run of 4 games without a win. Unfortunately for them, Newcastle were too strong. Newcastle won that game by a goal to nil. Let's take a look at the action. They have now gone 5 games without a win. It's 2 points from a possible 15, and Newcastle continue to ride high. Coach Potter Ball.
That's what I'm in love with. And everything shows that I'll have to fall in love even more.
Even
deeper.
More. Deeper and deeper.
This man, he's not serious.
Potter? But I thought you said you love him.
That's why I love him.
Okay.
If you're a Chelsea coach and you're not serious, I love you, Coach Ali. That's why I love him. Look, on a more serious note, I think even the selection of his players. First of all, there's no system, there's no pattern, there's no way of doing it. And that is where the confusion is. You can have 11 players on the pitch, but if there isn't a proper way that they all believe in doing the job, you will suffer. So yesterday, Newcastle came into the game booming in confidence.
Yeah.
They've been on this very impressive run. And Chelsea too have been in the opposite form. So the Chelsea I know, when they lose a game, the next game they will go and respond. And the response starts from the manager. Not to be gambling with your selection. It looks like he's seriously gambling with the selection. Because at the end of the day, if you were to start with the young chap on the left, what's his name?
Hall.
I think that was a chap who used to bench Baba Rahman some time ago.
Where?
He's an academy player, isn't he? Yes, when Baba
was
was
he's not
in
a
the
left back in the academy. He's a midfielder.
Okay.
It's not bad. Please keep Baba Rahman.
I'm just trying to...
No, but it's not Baba Rahman.
I understand.
No, you know it's not Baba Rahman.
No, but that boy isn't serious.
No, yes, he's not serious.
He's not up to this. So, look, was there a pattern of play? There wasn't any.
I was very confused.
Gallagher, busy for nothing. Next moment, if you're a midfielder and you are playing with your other midfielders, there was Kovacic, there was Jorginho, there was Gallagher. At least you've got 3 midfielders. So stay in your position and run your area. Let me run my area. We all run out and collectively we move as a unit. But you always saw Gallagher coming across Kovacic, intercepting Jorginho, and then leaving the void. Look at the void that was always in the Chelsea midfield. And I've again spoken about the Koulibaly, Thiago Silva combination. These 2 men.
Combined age.
With Cesar Azpilicueta, 106 years. I said it here, you remember? And I said that is going to be an issue. We saw Azpilicueta 1v1 situation And I said, "How no is that?" The old man was panting for breath.
Coach, what you're doing is not fair.
No, look at Koulibaly. The Koulibaly I knew 3, 4, 5 years ago
Easy recovery.
deals with that with ease. The ball bounced.
Almiron was doing like seal dribble, like
Yes,
Kello.
yes. The ball bounced. And who was in front of Almiron?
Almiron.
Koulibaly would have just done this. Come on, get out. Brush him off and then pass forward. But the pace of the English game is not allowing him to recover his breath, let alone put him a tackle. You saw him go down. Koulibaly, if he goes down, he at least touches the ball. He went down without any contact. And look at, there were 4 Chelsea defenders before the ball was planted in the net. 6s and 7, no organization. Thiago Silva, you are there and you cannot organize the people. So you see, it's getting worse and worse and worse. I think Potter would have prayed to God that the league is on break. Because if you look at this situation, it would have continued like this. There was no way they were going to put an end to it. Because he benched Aubameyang for who? Broya. This man. What are you thinking? Aubameyang is that sort of player who you need to believe in. With time, he will come good. Especially when he's blaming Aubameyang for Chelsea's inability to score goals.
There's no service.
There's no service. We've watched the team over and over and again and again. Look, I watched them against what? Brighton. I watched them against what? Manchester
Brentford.
United. Brentford. No service to the young man. He's a striker. If you don't serve him, he's got no food to eat. You, the coach self, you don't even have ingredient to put on the table. I mean, it's a serious issue. And for me, look, me, the Chelsea supporters watching the show, my wife supports Chelsea. So when I do this thing to you, when I go home at time, I have to redo the chemistry to bring back the love and all that. But on a more serious note, I enjoy it when they suffer. But they have to be true to the matter.
It's okay.
Challenge.
It's okay. We'll take a quick break here. When we come back, we'll do more Premier League action. Manchester City disappointing themselves, but Arsenal laying down their title credentials. This is Scorecard on Citi TV. Don't go away. This is Scorecard on Citi TV. My name is Daniel Cranting. Let's continue with the show. With the Premier League and Manchester City, they were at home against Brentford. They were hoping to keep the pressure on Arsenal at the top. It was the last game, of course, the last round of matches before the World Cup. Man City at home against Brentford. Ivan Toney of Brentford had some answers for Southgate, the England manager, who left him out of England's World Cup squad. He grabbed the brace. Brentford upset Manchester City, beating them by 2-1 at the Etihad. So Ivan Toney dropped from the England squad, and a few days later grabs a brace at the Etihad. Brentford shocked Manchester City. So, how on earth did this happen?
That's a very good question, because going into this game, it looked like everything was set for a City win. They had won 16 home games in a row. Brentford hadn't won away until this game, by the way. They hadn't won away all season. So it just looked like, oh.
They hadn't won at City since 1939.
Oh, look at that. So everything just on paper just said,
then
oh,
you go
casual.
Man City straight win.
And the investors were
Forget about that. Haaland triple captain.
A shock.
Oh, everything was set up, but you know how it is. It was a great performance for Brentford in the sense that they were compact. They made it. City had a few chances, but not as many as they would have liked. And when they got the ball on the counter, they provided a threat. They were able to move the ball fast, and that's Brentford for you. They move the ball very quickly, get into good positions, and try and make the best of it. We saw that in that Laporte clearance that they can do that. We saw their threat from set pieces and kind of balls into the box when Benny headed it, and then Ivan Toney got the goal. So the things that they always do, they do it every week. It's just that it doesn't work every week, but they have a plan, it's consistent, and they stick to it. And it worked brilliantly this week. But I have to say, I was saying it before, when you saw City's defending the counter-attack for the winning goal, it was very disappointing, because even if you are trying to get that goal, you should at least have a fullback or a defensive player kind of waiting outside the box. So once De Bruyne couldn't get that ball and Brentford started moving, who were in the box with Toney? Gundogan and Erling Haaland.
Yeah.
I mean,
Haaland and
Bernardo Silva. Exactly. So where were the defensive players? I mean, it's great that they put that effort and they track back, but their instincts and the way they defend the box and those angles, that's not their game. So you see that Haaland is kind of watching the ball, trying to see what's happening. By the time he's turned his head, Tony has tapped it, and you know that kind of thing. So Man City really need to work on their defending transitions in those type of situations, especially from set pieces when your defensive players are in the box. And that's what let them down, because they could have got a point. But I have to say, credit to Brentford, because even aside that, they played very well. And with 25% possession, they managed to keep the game competitive and get the result. So a great win for them and a great moment for Ivan Toney. He's always performed in the league, you know, since he came to the league. He even had the championship record before Mitrovic decided to misbehave and do. So this is a quality striker. It's unfortunate that Callum Wilson hits form at the right time and Southgate seems to prefer him, but he will definitely play for England, and hopefully the next World Cup he has the chance. He'll be about 30 by then, so it's not too late.
And that defeat at the Etihad for Manchester City benefited one club and one club only. Arsenal, they went to Wolves hoping to make it a 5 points gap headed into the World Cup, and they did so. Right now, Arsenal are title contenders, whether they like it or not. You can't be sitting on top of the Premier League after 15 match weeks, 5 points clear, and tell me that you are taking it one game at a time. Let's look at that game at the Molineux between Wolves and Arsenal. So another 3 points for Arsenal. Coach, it's not like they are just winning by luck. They are playing like champions.
Exactly.
And
Look,
they are in pole position.
Of course, and they deserve to be where they are. At the end of the day, they knew what they had to do, because if they knew of the results earlier on in the day involving their closest rival in Man City. So they knew that all they needed to do was to go and win. Any form of win, it's a win. They go 5 points clear. But if you listen to Odegaard after the game, he spoke about the first half. It's like the pressure got to them in that first half, and the manner in which they were moving the ball was very lethargic, very slow, not believing that they had that form of advantage. So at recess, Mikel Arteta quickly reminded them that, look, the people you are leading, when they spark a certain machine, they can go 20 games unbeaten. So you better capitalize on that. And that more or less energized them, gave them a completely different force to allow them to come into that second half and impose themselves. And you could clearly see, when the second half started, they meant business. They had to give the ball to Partey a bit more so that he would take the tempo at a very faster rate. And they did exactly that. Look, Gabriel Jesus, I said this thing last week, I'm going to say it again. I think his all-round performance is absolutely brilliant. Arsenal should look at him and see whether, with him as the main man, they can win the league. I think if they don't take care, it will come down to that, where they don't have a proper number 9, with the proper goal-scoring instinct, will cost them the title. Because it's like he's drifting far off the left, but he's not the Thierry Henry sort of player who will come in and then plant the ball in the back. So most of Arsenal goals are coming from the wingers and the midfielders. Xhaka, Odegaard, Saka, Martinelli, Thomas Partey at times. It is good to have the goals spread around. But to win this league, we've seen over the years, you need a striker who will guarantee you at least 20 goals. And I don't think Arsenal have that. And if they don't take it, it will come down to that. But so far, so very good. They are on track. They are doing the right thing. In January, I'll be shocked if they don't go into the market. They need to go into the market and get a striker. You look at there. How many strikers do you have out there? Maybe Osimhen. Who else?
Let me pin you to a quick question here. If Arsenal can sign one player in the January transfer window, we saw them on deadline day during the summer transfer window pushing for Douglas Luiz. Should they go for a midfielder to cater for
Partey's absent?
Yes, in case, or they should go for the striker.
I think on the face of that, they should go for a midfielder to cater for Partey's absence, because they will need another controller, another boss, somebody who will control the tempo of their games, somebody who will protect. Because look, they are doing well defensively because of Thomas Partey's anticipation. You realize that Saliba and Gabriel are not working tirelessly to keep clean sheets. They are just anticipating better and then solving the problems in and around them. So Partey and then Xhaka are ensuring that they are well protected. If they can cope with this, because I don't think they can cope with the absence of Thomas Partey, but they can do without a striker. But either way, if they've got the cash, they should go and buy a Partey replacement and buy a striker. That, in my view, that gives them the best opportunity to win the league ahead of Man City.
Coach, I kind of disagree with you on this. Like, I agree with you that Jesus should be scoring more. There's no doubt about it. But it's about the result and the way they are playing. And even though he's not scoring, because of everything else he's done, the platform for them to win is there. And if they get a goal scorer, most of the better goal scorers around, you're going to lose that all-round play. So if you lose that all-round play, will you even create the chances for him to miss anymore? You have to ask yourself that question, because it's a trade-off. Because when he drops it, you see him, he comes to left back, he comes to right back, he's all over.
Yeah, so eventually we are saying the same thing. But I'm looking at the history of this league. When was the last time a team won the league not having a player score 20 plus goals?
Man City last year.
Man City last year.
I think it's like 15 plus.
Yeah,
I think
15.
I think it's 15 plus.
De Bruyne scored 15 last year.
How many has he scored so far?
He scored 5.
5.
He's gone how many games without scoring? Like 7 or 8?
It's quite a few.
Look,
it's
you
quite
see,
a few.
for a team that is not used to winning the league, they don't have a template on winning the league. I think we need to get a renowned goal scorer. Because, look, this team will come. There will be pressure here. Now, they are playing without pressure. But now, because they are on top of the league at Christmas, the pressure will begin to mount. When it begins to mount, then you need people to stand up. And your work becomes very easy when you have that striker who can take attention away from the midfielders to go and cause the damage. The time will come, I believe, they will need a proper focal point to win the league.
That is Arsenal. But what remains and what is fact is that they are going into Christmas on top of the Premier League table. This is their best start ever in the Premier League. They go to 37 points in the first 15 games. They surpassed what Wenger did back in 2007-2008. So Arsenal are on course. In fact, 2007-2008, they didn't win the league. That's the history.
They haven't won the league the last 5 times they've been top at Christmas.
At Christmas.
Yeah.
So it's sort of a bad omen. But they should intentionally drop to second by New Year's Day and then come back. Maybe that is the trick. But let's move on to Manchester United. They were away to Fulham. United knew that they would not make the top 4 heading to Christmas, but they needed to keep that pressure on 4th place Tottenham Hotspur. They travelled to Fulham, a Fulham team that has given the big boys some trouble. Yes, Fulham gave Man United trouble, but it was Alejandro Garnacho, the one who idolizes Cristiano Ronaldo. He grabbed the winner for Man United in the 92nd minute. Let's take a look at the action. So that was a winner from Alejandro Garnacho. He idolizes Cristiano Ronaldo. He's got the opportunity to play with Ronaldo, and he's showing us things that Ronaldo has done over and over and over again throughout his career. Coach, brilliant goal. United, if we are being honest, they didn't deserve 3 points, but you don't always have to deserve 3 points to get 3 points.
Yeah, exactly. I think it was a very difficult game.
Yeah.
If you look at this Man United team, almost every player in the first 11 is going to the World Cup. Even Maguire is going. So you have to be very careful. And Fulham knew. So they made the game a very competitive one. Very physical, brutally contested. I think in that first half, that was where Man United should have finished the game off. They had some decent chances that they should have. If they had gone 2-3 goals up in the first half, it would have been no contest. But once Fulham came back, when it remains that just a goal separating the two teams, the other team is always in the game. They know that the next goal is very important. Once they got it, and tactically, when they got the equalizing goal through a former Man United player, Dan James, they respected the fact that a point would be a very good result against Man United.
Yeah.
So they sat back and started playing on the counter. And that made it even more difficult for Man United to carve them open. But when they got the set piece, a corner kick to throw men forward, they did that. And then their recovery was very poor. And again, credit must be given to Eriksen. That is what, you see, the presence of Eriksen, the presence of Casemiro, these two guys epitomizes what Man United has been missing over the years. The McFred combo that has been so suicidal, killing some of us regularly over the past years. This is a clear indication. Because look at the manner in which Eriksen picked up the ball. He saw Garnacho, gave the ball to him, continued with his run into space. And the moment Garnacho returned the ball back to him, he just told the ball, go for it. Look at the weight behind the pass, the technique. Completely placed the ball in space. He knew the young man has got space. Very, very good, intelligent player. And for me, The two Fulham player, the right back, clearly you could see he was struggling.
We have to give him credit because he's not a natural right back.
Okay, so he
plays strike and other positions.
Deputized it for some, and he did very well throughout the game. Is it
Palhinha? I blame him.
A player who had done so well in the game. In fact, in my view, their best player on the day.
Yeah,
he was very good against Liverpool. Every time I've seen him play,
he's been excellent.
He's going to the World Cup.
No wonder he's going to the World Cup. I mean, I think Portugal are going to benefit from him. But maybe because he had wet himself, that 92nd minute, that is where you need every last breath in you to catch up with an 18-year-old. And he wasn't catching a young man. And that is from Argentina. Garnacho. He's from Argentina. Argentina. If you idolize this Cristiano Ronaldo, you should be doing these things. Who is Scott McTominay idol? Oh, Charlie. He doesn't have an idol, Tomini.
You don't say that. Yeah, you haven't asked him.
He idolizes himself, or what?
He idolizes Paul Scholes.
Who? I beg you, yeah. Charlie, don't bring that.
Let's move on to Liverpool. They were in action against Southampton. Liverpool have struggled this season, but they needed a win, and they needed to put pressure on the top four. They still have a chance of finishing in the top four, of course. It's getting tensions in that top four race. Liverpool were taking on Southampton at home. Darwin Núñez grabbed the brace. Bobby Firmino with the other goal. Liverpool winning by 3-1. Was in brilliant form in that second half, thwarting Southampton time and time again. But was Darwin Núñez's brace the difference for Liverpool? 3 extra points for them, another win. So let me come to you. And was much needed for Liverpool. They were not impressive throughout the game, but these are some of the victories that they need to pile up.
And we have to realize that when they played teams of a similar ilk in Leeds and Nottingham Forest in recent weeks, they gave away their 3 points. They lost both games, so it was important to get this win because we are talking about Liverpool as a team that they step up when they need to step up, and they weren't able to deal with Derby County in midweek. They rested some players, but you are playing a League One team. You should still be able to, go past them when you bring on your big guns. They were saved by 3 penalty saves from their keeper, so it was a disappointing midweek, and they've ended their kind of half season, call it a half, even though it's 16 games. They've ended it on a high note, but it's been ultimately very disappointing. But the result was very good, very encouraging. Like they said, Darwin Núñez gets his first brace for the club. And we saw the types of goals he scores. And that's what you need to do with Darwin Núñez. The same way Erling Haaland, you just put the ball into the box and let him kind of finish the chance. Because when he's having to do too much and make certain decisions, we see the problems. And when his technique is not as clean as some other strikers, so if he doesn't have that clean technique, asking him to drop deep, link the play is a bit difficult, which is why it seems that he's playing better when he's kind of starting on the left, with Firmino in the middle and Salah on the right. Because almost like he just gets on the end of chances. He's just coming to meet the chances. So, encouraging performance, great performance. And I think that Darwin Núñez part is probably the best part for Liverpool. Because you need him on form. You need him to pick up the slack. Because that's why they paid a lot of money for him. So, he needs to start getting a goal. He needs to start delivering. The title is almost impossible this season. You never say never, of course. But the way things are going, it's not likely. But they need to get top 4 because the financial hit of not playing the Champions League will mean that even those midfielders that they say they need to buy, the 2-3 midfielders they are thinking of buying, not playing the Champions League, it hampers you financially. And some players might want to say, I don't want to play in the Europa League. So it's very important for them to get on track. And a brilliant performance from Darwin Núñez.
Let's go to Tottenham Hotspur. Toto Antonio Conte's side were looking to consolidate their 4th spot. They were taking on Leeds United at home. A fixture that looked pretty simple on paper, but it was far from that. Tottenham Hotspur needed 2 late goals to win by 4-3. Uruguay's Darwin Núñez won Liverpool all 3 points. Uruguay's Bentancur won Tottenham all 3 points. December 2nd, Ghana versus Uruguay. Are you afraid?
Not at all.
Not at all.
I'm waiting for what Otuado will do tomorrow.
Okay. Before you decide.
Before I decide whether I will be afraid or not. If he stays honest to the principle of coaching, no fears. We will make them boot for boot. We've got issues to settle with them already. Serious issues. So for them, I don't even think. Charlie, Monique Bowe, what did I say? That's it.
And even before
I'm not afraid.
We have to count about the fact that we're going to be playing against Nuno Cavani and Nuno Suarez probably. You know how these things are. So Núñez might even be coming off the bench if he's not lucky. So
Nuno what? Cavani and Nuno Suarez.
Yes.
But good way for...
In fact, please, coach, I don't speak down. What's above Nuno? What's older than Nuno? Because they They where they reach
in
beyond
Ghana
the
we say Oda. Bo. Obo. 3 things. Oda means now you grow. Obo. You are now becoming old. Boy, you are getting old. Obo. Now you are old man.
No, that's why they
all
are.
put together. No more.
Okay. So they've reached their final evolution. So I'm not afraid at all. We have young men in our defense.
Yes,
you understand. So I'm not.
Exactly.
I'm not
So, but
afraid.
look, this is why Antonio Conte doesn't want Tottenham to play expansive football. Because against any other team, they'll be losing this game.
That's true.
It's because Leeds United themselves are the team that plays with a lot of adrenaline and always want to allow it to flow through the system. But if it was a game, a Chelsea, a United, a Liverpool, there's no way Tottenham is coming back 3 times to end up winning 4-3. But for the neutrals, it was very, very exciting. So maybe Antonio Conte should look at his team and say, okay, there may be times against these less powerful teams where he can unleash them and get them to express themselves better. But I enjoyed every bit of this game because of the excitement. I think there were 2 goals in 1 minute. I think Bentacles.
It was about 2 goals in 2 minutes.
Yeah, 2 goals in 2 minutes. 2 goals in 2 minutes. And for me, I couldn't believe it. But I was asking myself, come on, man, where's the Leeds United coach? Jesse Marsh. Is that his name?
I heard the stats before the game that no American coach has ever won against Antonio Conte. So it looks like the American coaches. There's something about them. They threw the game away.
He got pegged back, took the lead. He got pegged back. I think after the 3rd goal, he should have just taken the steam out of it.
Yeah.
But that's not his style.
That's why he lost.
That's why he lost.
Heavy metal football.
That's why he lost. We'll take a quick break here. When we come back, we'll do some more European football. We'll go to Italy and then around the world. This is Scorecard on Citi TV. In fact, when we come back, I also read, there are lots of messages that have popped up on the tab here. I'll read those ones also after the break. Welcome back. This is Scorecard on Citi TV. My name is Daniel Cranting. I'm in studio with Coach Christopher Nibli and Susu Graham. Let me read some of the messages that have come through the WhatsApp line. This one from Bofrot Puff Puff from Nungwa. It says Chelsea is the most consistent team in England. 1 win in August, 1 win in September, 1 win in October. It's just like a menstrual cycle. So if they don't win in November, know that they are pregnant.
Who impregnated them?
Bofrot Puff Puff with that message. This one is from Kofi from Amasam, and he says, Danike, please tell coach to let the Cowboy fans have peace. They are already bleeding. He's talking about Chelsea. Abeku Sak from Kaswa Budumburam. He says Potter must be protected at all costs. He must continue to give us the same pure joy that is oozing out of us with maximum equilibrium. Kweku from La Paz, he says Arsenal need 2 more prolific strikers to win the Premier League. Michael from Adenta, New Legon, he says this Potter man is a downgrade for Chelsea. He doesn't know his left from his right. He's short of ideas. He's playing players out of their natural position. He lacks a commanding spirit on and off the pitch. He said Massa, Tuchel was given Lampard's team and he delivered by winning the Champions League. So tell coach to call Todd Bowley and tell him Potter and tell him to sack.
I don't have his number. I only talk to
Abramovich.
No, I talk to the people at United.
Okay. So sorry. Coach doesn't have his number.
No, I talk to Meta and Meta.
Obo from Tamale, he says, how on earth will Fatal get the nod ahead of Pinsel and Schlupp? Let me just treat it as a rumor till tomorrow. If that happens, Otoado, the me gets on fight. Richard from Amasama, he says Garnacho has to come to Barcelona or he won't win the Golden Boy. Reverend Leonard Avle from Lumi.
Yes. Hello, Reverend. It's been a while.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
He says, Coach Christopher, I support your advice to the Black Stars coach and the management board. You always give serious advice and tell the truth, but you always tease Chelsea. And I'm worried. You are worrying, Reverend. Coach, stop.
I'm sorry, Reverend.
Stop it. Charles K there, he says, inside Kadi, he says, it will be suicidal to have Barbara Rahman in the Ghana team without Jeffrey Schlupp. I don't know why Christopher Nibli is not talking about it.
He's not been listening to me.
So what is going on? Because what is going on social media looks like Otuado has his hands tied to his back. None of his assistants also want to talk. We'll see the list tomorrow. In fact, he'll read out the list tomorrow and he'll answer all the questions that everybody has. William from Afinia, he says, I'm a Chelsea fan, and to be totally honest, I'm not surprised we lost the game against Newcastle. We have deep issues, and if we don't deal with them, I'm afraid, but the only way is down. Clementino from Kodie, he says, I'm the only Potter I know is Harry Potter, who is a sorcerer. And Chelsea is having Potter as a coach. What do you expect? He says, oh, Charlie. He says, shout outs to Coach Nimley and my wife, Lawo. Keep it up, farm, 100%. Yes. Shout outs to your wife. William from Apollonia, he says, Graham Potter's honeymoon is over. I'm loving Chelsea under Potter. I'm happy to be a Manchester United fan. Interesting stuff. This one from Nana Kofi inside Tamale. He says, Coach Nimley, cry. What has Chelsea done to you?
I love that team. That is my wife's team. I love it.
Oh, goodness me. More messages coming through. This one from Sally Al-Hassan. He says, the Orlando Pirates medical team has reportedly recommended that Richard Ofori is not taken to the World Cup after an MRI scan was sent to the GFA. He has fluid in his knee and is unlikely to heal after the World Cup. This could only mean one thing. Richard Ofori may miss the World Cup. Yeah, there are conflicting reports coming from South Africa. Some are saying he may be fit. Some are saying he will not be fit. Let's keep our fingers crossed. If he's fit.
There is fluid. The coat to Geno, I said, see you what the coat to Geno.
But Zlatan played the whole of last season with fluid in his knee. And
where is Zlatan now?
So you play the World Cup, then you go.
Zlatan is 40.
Zlatan is 40 years.
He's a young man who can recover quickly.
No, he's there. You see, when there are fluids in your knee, I don't want to say certain things. Do you know what causes that?
Okay, let's move on.
So, Coach, after the show, you tell us.
I'll tell you.
Thank God you know it here. Need to know from Tema Newtown. He says Liverpool's issues are getting worsened by the day, or getting worse by the day. He said Klopp must wake up. Tim from Second D says, Danny, we created an XG of 3 as against Fulham's 1.17. United deserve to win and to win by more. We don't finish off teams when we dominate, hence momentum switches and the game becomes closer than it ought to. United deserves to win the game, Daniel. Yes, United won the game. That's the most important thing. Katri from Busumuru. He says, Otuado and Chris Hutton are adamant on adding Jeffrey Schlupp in the Black Star squad. However, the GFA have explicitly declined their request. You don't know that. You don't know that. We don't know that for sure. If he can properly defend why he's in the team or why he's not in the team tomorrow, that is where you get your assessment from. But yes, he will name the squad. That is Otuado will name the Black Star squad tomorrow to be a press conference journalist. I will be there personally. I'll ask him about Jeffrey Schlupp. That is what I'm interested in. I'll ask him about Jeffrey Schlupp. Coach, you'll be there. You ask him about Joseph Pinsel.
As a pencil, he's going, so there wouldn't be any question.
No question. Okay. Let's move on. Let's go to the Italian Serie A. Napoli, they are on fire. The only unbeaten team in the top 5 leagues in Europe. Also, PSG have also not lost. But they are on fire. They are 10 points clear at the top of the Serie A table. They met Udinese. They beat them by 3-2. Let's take a look at the action. Inter winning that game by 3-2. There was also a win for Juventus. They beat Lazio by 3-0. So a couple of weeks ago, we were talking about the possibility of Allegri being sacked, how Juve were on a bad run of form. Juve have climbed up to 3rd. They are just 2 points behind Milan. Interesting stuff there. And after the World Cup, Pogba is coming back. Di Maria is coming back. Chiesa is coming back. Locatelli is coming back. The league will be nice, rough.
They will finish
I think it will come down to Napoli. It's theirs to lose. Because if they continue like this, nobody's catching them. And what is even more serious is the fact that even against the big teams, against their direct competitors, they've beaten them. This season, they've dealt with Inter Milan already.
They beat Milan.
They've beaten AC Milan too. So I think they've beaten Juve already, or they have not played Juve. They've not played Juve. So it will come down to those games. And so as long as Napoli is beating those in and around them, and they've shown that as for the Minos, it's 3 points in the bag, both home and away. They are yet to taste defeat. And for me, that is serious. I don't remember the last time a Napoli team played this well. Dominate opponent, impose themselves. And Osimhen is proven to be one of the best strikers in the world. Maybe on current form,
Ian Haaland
looks like the real deal. All he needs is service. You put in the service, he buries it.
I don't even think he needs service. I think he can create.
He can create as well. But of course, he's playing in a team that guarantees him service.
They are feeding him.
They are feeding him. So he's scoring all type of goals, and that is what makes it even more serious.
Let's go to the German Bundesliga. There were two big games in the German Bundesliga, traditional big games. So we'll do them back to back. Schalke took on Bayern Munich. Bayern won that game by 2-0. And then there was also Borussia Mönchengladbach up against Borussia Dortmund. Gladbach winning by 4-2. Goals. Gladbach beating Dortmund by 4-2. Susu, I love the Bundesliga because you are guaranteed goals.
Oh, yeah. Everyone plays a high-pressing game, a high line. They're all trying to kind of engineer their turnover high up the pitch. They're not too worried about defending deep. So you see those situations all the time where teams are breaking forward. It's 3-on-2, 4-on-2. Makes very interesting games. But as someone who likes, who is a fan of Syria, who likes deep defenses and organized teams, it's very difficult to watch sometimes because you would hope that teams would be a bit more compact. But it's what they like. It's their cultural identity they seem to have picked up. Because if you remember, in the past, Germany was known for kind of the more solid defensive football and grinding results out. They've kind of changed their cultural identity. So it's very interesting that they've done that. And it's an example for other countries that you can change what you are known for in world football. Because the Germans used to say we go to tournaments to score penalties and headers. And now they're one of the best high-pressing teams in the world. So it's great to see that national identity coming through. And it helps create good attacking players and good technical midfielders. But nowadays, you don't see as many top German centre-backs because of that, because they are not used to defending the box the same way and they cover a lot of space. So you need to be a bit more mobile to succeed in that league.
Before we go, some quotes are coming from Cristiano Ronaldo's interview with Piers Morgan. Some damning quotes. First one, he says he doesn't have, and I quote, "I don't have respect for Erik ten Hag because he doesn't show respect for me." He says, "If you don't have respect for me, I'll never have any for you." Then he says he felt betrayed by Manchester United during the summer transfer window. Then he also goes on to say, this is on Ralf Rangnick. He says, "If you are not even a coach, how are you going to be the boss of United? I had never heard of him before." Coach.
It's very unfortunate that it's coming for Cristiano Ronaldo at this time of the season. Maybe this is what he referred to some time ago. I will speak the truth. I will speak when the time comes. So he's finally spoken. I want to take it in threefold, like you have read. I agree with him on the Ralf Rangnick issue because Ralf Rangnick at the time hadn't coached for what? 10 years.
10 years, yeah.
But maybe the decision makers at the team disappointed him. I agree. But on the issue of Erik ten Hag, I think he was the first person to disrespect ten Hag. When he virtually refused to turn up for preseason, that was the moment he drew the line. And for every top coaches, Pep Guardiola wouldn't have accepted that.
Yeah.
Jurgen Klopp wouldn't have accepted. Thomas Tuchel, name them. No top manager would have put up with him. Because if you look at the reasons, this is a man who granted an interview before preseason saying, "I'm here, I'll help the team, we'll rebuild and we'll move forward. Ten Hag is welcome and all that." Now come back for preseason. You say you want to leave. If you want to leave, come for your preseason. When Ten Hag I remember Ten Hag's first interview, when he was asked about Ronaldo, he said, "I am not going to discuss Cristiano Ronaldo with anybody. I will sit with him, and whatever we discuss as a coach and the player stays between the two of us." And Ronaldo, after that discussion, was the first person to disrespect the manager. And this is a manager who has walked into this team, highly divided dressing room, who needed to be very careful on how he manages the team. No player is bigger than a team. Ronaldo is never big. He's an infinitesimal element when it comes to Manchester United. Infinitesimal. Not even this size when it comes to United. So he was the first person to disrespect the manager. This manager was put in a very tight corner the moment Cristiano Ronaldo thought that he should be treated special. He deserves to be treated what? Special. I agree. He's done everything in world football. But you should respect the fact that a new manager had just walked in. Give him the respect. Even if you want to leave the team, you should have told the manager the first day you met him. You didn't do that. You assured him of your support and your readiness to work with him. Come, let's go for pre-season. You sit in Portugal and you say you won't come because Man United should terminate your contract. Man United should... United had just paid 20 million euros for you. You're on a £500,000 a week contract. Who should terminate what? Maybe he should have offered to buy himself out of the contract, which he didn't do.
Coach,
this clearly tells me that he's a gunner.
Coach, just pause there.
Just before you continue, if I'm Eric Ten Hag, he's gone. He will never play under me because he said he doesn't trust me. He doesn't respect me. Eric Ten Hag has never come public to say, I don't respect Ronaldo. He's always been very measured when it comes to issues of Ronaldo.
Coach, so he's given reasons as to why he said he felt betrayed by the club. He says Man United lacked empathy during pre-season. When his 3-month-old daughter was hospitalized in July, he wanted to stay with her. That's why he asked the club for permission. So that
the club allowed him.
Yes. So he feels like the club didn't defend him openly and allowed these rumors to circulate about he wanting to leave. That was the main reason why he wasn't turning up for pre-season.
Who said I want to leave? Who said it? He said it. Man United. If
Ronaldo never said in an interview he wanted to leave.
But it was clear from what we everything that he was.
Yes, and
he was being shopped around, all sorts of
things.
And I agree. I understand where he's coming from. That he wasn't coming because of the wanting to leave, but because his daughter was sick. But the reason people knew he wanted to leave was it was engineered by, because if he didn't want to leave, it would have never come in the news.
Man United had no intention of selling him.
I feel like he's been a bit unfair to the club to say the club should have defended him. What did he want the club to say? Yes, Ronaldo wants to leave, but he actually has personal problems. It will sound ridiculous with all due respect. And for me, the way Ronaldo seems to be behaving right now, I don't trust him.
He has to go. He has to leave the team.
And it's a bit disappointing.
Now, who 38 years old man? You want us to build this team around you?
It's a bit disappointing because someone who's known for professionalism and dedication to his craft. And he's coming off as an immature crybaby. You know?
Of course.
Because we understand you, we understand your special status, but it's the wrong. You cannot go into the media and say you don't trust your manager. It's totally
unfair.
Looks like this is the end.
It has to be.
And we have to even go back to last season. Remember when Lukaku did something similar? Yes. How we all slated him and stuff. We all spoke about Lukaku and the way he was behaving last season. What Ronaldo has did is probably just as bad, if not worse. Because what Lukaku said is he wanted to be played a certain way. He still missed. This guy basically said that this manager doesn't know what he's doing. He's more or less said that.
Looks like this is the end of the road for Cristiano Ronaldo at Manchester United. Next up is the World Cup, where he faces Ghana on the 24th of November. I'm sure by then when he comes back, something will be sorted out and he'll be out of the club. But that's it for Scorecard here on Citi TV. My name is Daniel Cranting. I did this with Susu Graham and Coach Christopher Nimley. Thanks for your time. Thanks for your messages. We'll be back next week. But next week will be different because the World Cup would have started. Take care.